Professor Carol Anderson, Chair of African American Studies at Emory University. When we think of voter suppression, we often think of it in terms of the kind of very visible violence that rained down on people in Selma, Alabama, on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. In the 21st century version of it, we think of it in terms of voter ID, voter roll purges, gerrymandering, poll closures, constricting early voting hours. We think of it in those terms, but what has happened, why we think of it that way, is because we've begun to really pay attention to how the very sinews of democracy, to how the very right to vote is being undermined and undercut by these very kind of what I call bureaucratic violence, by bureaucratic violence. And we know that those measures have done damage. And because we have started paying attention to what that kind of voter suppression has done, the people who are implementing it have one or two ways to go. They stop doing it, or they find another method. Unfortunately, they didn't go for door number one. When we're seeing this kind of rush toward these new machines, voting machines, where you cannot verify the ballot, you cannot verify that who you voted for or the initiatives that you voted for were actually what then gets tabulated. That means that they're vulnerable. That means that with just some quick coding, with just a quick flick of the switch, they're easily hackable, that American democracy is in trouble. We must have hand-marked paper ballots. That is the only way to ensure that who you voted for, what you voted for, is actually tabulated, and because it's auditable. You can audit them. You can verify that who you voted for, what you voted for, is actually what ends up on that final tally. Without that, it's another version of voter suppression. Because the people who crafted the voter ID laws, the people who crafted the gerrymandered districts, the people who crafted the closure of polling sites and who constricted early voting hours and early voting days, those are the ones who are pushing through, rushing through to try to get these vulnerable voting machines installed before the 2020 election. Because the media, the public, have been paying attention to now this new version of Jim Crow. So now they're getting ready to go to Jim Crow 3.0. We have to stop it. And one of the ways is by signing a petition that demands that hand-marked paper ballots are the way to go. Thank you.